Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the 222nd edition of Speaking of Zane. Boy, first time ever we had 2 weeks in a row that I did not do Speaking of Zane. First time ever, 2 weeks in a row. But I was out of town, and Sunday night was our gathering night for all my little chickens there in St. Louis. So it just wasn't going to work out. But we will get Speaking of Zane in tonight, the February 13th edition. And it's not even on the normal night because of the Super Bowl. I'm sorry about that. I know that it's kind of thrown a lot of people off of their schedule, but that is the way that it goes sometimes. But let's see if we can get caught up on a few things from the last couple of weeks. Well, I was gone for 2 weeks. That's the first time I've been gone for 2 weeks for work in quite some time. But a little bit of a special project going there. But I'm home now, at least for a week, and then I'll be back in St. Louis next week. But stay tuned on what that means for Speaking of Zane. Don't quite know yet, but I will let everyone know in plenty of time. Lori is home too. Lori, you may recall, she was down in at my Warriors place for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that. She got back after I had already left. So, but she is back and quite quite the activity going on there at my Warriors place. You probably saw on the Facebook page that unfortunately Kelly's going to have to move my Warrior place. There's a little bit of a dispute there. If you watch the news coverage, there's a little bit of a dispute with the county there, Hillsborough County, and this access road, and it's just doesn't look like it's going to work out. So Kelly's decided that really probably the best thing to do is to relocate the entire operation. And it looks like she has settled on, and maybe we'll have her back as a guest soon to explain the whole situation. Since many of you have been supporters of my Warriors place, I'm sure she would love to come and talk about it at some point. But it looks like she's going to move to Punta Gorda, which is south of Sarasota, south of Ruskin, where they're at now, south of Sarasota. I can't remember how far south, but when Lori was there, Lori went with her to look at the new property and everything. But so unfortunate, but I think Kelly's attitude is very positive, obviously, and she's not going to let something like this stand in her way of serving the veteran community. So you can bet that my Warriors place will come back stronger than ever at its new location, and I'm sure that we'll be involved in some capacity. I know I will with the network and the wireless coverage and everything. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to take a little trip down there and do a site survey and figure out what we're dealing with there, and don't even know the timeline on this whole thing. But it's to hear Kelly talk about it, it's sort of a sad thing. Obviously, you can imagine taking something that you've built and now you have to leave it and build over again. I'm sure, but I think this could be like a lot of things that hit our life. It could be the catalyst for something even better, and I think that's kind of the approach that she's taking. So maybe as a result of this, she'll be able to even serve a wider community and to a fuller extent. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll hear from her. Well, let's see. What else is going on? I mentioned Lori is back, and she actually brought a friend with her, a little 9-year-old puppy, not so little, a big 9-month-old puppy. That's a whole story. I'll let Lori tell you that story sometime. But if you know the name Karen Vaughn, very famous and outspoken Gold Star mother of a Navy SEAL, who was killed in Afghanistan. It all came because of Lori's friendship with her and the need for this dog. And anyway, it worked out that Lori picked this little puppy that she has renamed Liberty. And now Liberty is here with us. So stay tuned for more on that. What else is going on? Let's see. Well, one cool thing, I don't know if you follow Lori on her Facebook page, you saw this, but, Lori was down there on the anniversary of Zane's passing on the 31st. And then the very next day, February 1st, is Kelly's son Corey's birthday. So they had a birthday celebration, and Lori did something very special for Kelly and had at dinner, had a birthday cake delivered. And they sang happy birthday to Corey. It was kind of awesome there. But let's see. So Zane, since we were last together, we had the anniversary of Zane's passing, 7 years. And then the anniversary of his funeral, which was on February the 9th. And then, geez, what was it? I don't know if Jim's on tonight, but Jim, during that week while we were waiting to bury Zane, Jim Miller's wife, Deb, passed. And so this past week, Jim had the anniversary of his wife's passing. I don't remember the exact day, Jim. Maybe it was like the 6th or 7th or something like that. But yeah. Let's see. We do have, a happy birthday. Happy birthday to my Aunt Cindy over in Alabama. Sometimes she joins us here on Sunday nights. Happy birthday, Aunt Cindy. And then happy 58th wedding anniversary to Daryl, our very own Daryl. And his wife, Wanda, were married 58 years ago. Daryl, was that today? I think it was today, maybe. And Daryl made a visit to Jefferson Barracks today. And let's see. That's all I could think of. It seemed like I'm missing a birthday or something, some anniversary or birthday, but yeah, check out the chat here. Daryl's in there. Steve Shirley's in there. Steve, thank you for the news item. I'm going to read that in a minute. Matt Aaron's in there. Hey, Matt. Let's see. February 5th. Okay, 5th. All right, my dad's in there. Nobody else says hello, son. So it's got to be my dad. Dad's in there. All right. Well, let's see. I think I've acknowledged everybody. I know we're gonna have a light evening because we're kind of off on our schedule there. I did post last night that we would do it tonight, so hopefully everybody saw that. Okay. Let's see. Even though I've been out of town for 2 weeks, I did lose another pound. I was worried because I didn't have my normal diet, although I had a more restricted diet because I don't eat the same thing that all my coworkers eat. But so my weight loss is at 71 pounds. That's trending in the right direction. And then the hat of the week is Brave Spring Training. Yeah, pitchers and catchers report this week. Thank goodness. I am so tired of football, ready for baseball. So that is the hat of the week. All right. Well, let's see. I had one this week in military history item. Thank you, Steve Shirley, for sending that over. It's the 50th anniversary. I'm going to share the screen here, Steve. Let's see if I can remember how. There we go. Share the screen. This is an interesting one here. 50th anniversary of Operation Homecoming. Operation Homecoming on February 12th. So between February 12th, on February 12th, the first Vietnam POW was released. And then between February 12th and March 29th, 591 Americans were released in Operation Homecoming. That was 1973. Is that right, Steve? I think that's right. 1973. 591. And interesting story. Some of you that have been to the Air Force Museum at Wright-Patterson have been on the C-141, the very famous star lifter that brought POWs home from the Hanoi Hilton. That C-141's in the museum there. And my last visit, I actually went on board. Kind of a cool story there. But thank you, Steve, for sharing that item for the week. All right, well, let's see. Since we last met, so now it's been over 2 weeks, we've had a few Veteran Cemetery Challenge visits. And I've got Daryl for 3 visits, Jimbo for 1 visit, maybe more than 1, but Jim, the only one I captured. And then our friend Spud, the retired Delta captain, former tanker pilot, who lives now in the Denver area, visited Fort Logan. Fort Logan. He said it was his. He's a member of the VFW out there now, and he said that was his first. Visit for an interment. Of a veteran. So how about that? And then Ken, I don't think Ken's in here with us tonight, but Ken and his wife made a visit to Hawaii, and Ken visited what's called the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, and you may hear some call that the Punch Bowl. And I've never been there. I've never been to Hawaii, but Ken made a visit there and shared some pictures on the Facebook page. So thank you for doing that, Ken. And if I total that up there, but since the last time we met, there were 6 visits. And we have made 750 visits now to 168. That may be actually 169 now, because I need to add his Punch Bowl visit as a new one. I don't think we had that one on the map. So 750 visits to 169 different locations. How about that? All right. Let's see. Thank you, Vet Challenge. We've had quite a few thank yous since we last met, which is really cool. Lori had a Navy, an Air Force. Daryl had an active duty Air Force. Jim had an active duty Air Force. I had an Air Force vet, Navy vet, and a Navy vet today at work. My dad had an Army vet that he met at the gym last week. And then Aunt Paula had, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, she had an Army vet, 3 Pasco County sheriffs, an Army Desert Storm vet, an Army Iraqi Freedom vet, a Vietnam vet, a Marine vet, a Navy vet, a combat wounded vet, another Navy vet, and another Vietnam vet. So a nice couple of weeks for Aunt Paula there. Very active senior citizen. Doesn't look like a senior citizen, but she's a very active one. And so if I add all those up, I think we had, that's over 20 since we last met, which takes our count to 1,943. So we're getting closer to that 2,000 mark. So how about that? And Aunt Paula posted today, you probably saw on the Facebook page that she wrote out 60 Valentine cards for the VA clinic there in Newport Richey. So those Valentine's Day cards will be given out tomorrow at the VA clinic there in Newport Richey. How about that? That's kind of a cool thing to do. All right. And the only thing I already mentioned, two organizational things. We have the Running to Honor 5K coming up in July. I saw my dad let's see. So me and Lori, Steve Shirley, my dad, my sister, and my nephew are all registered virtually for Team Speaking of Zane. So how about that? We'll have another group um, under the Speaking of Zane name this summer. And then, and the other thing I mentioned was My Warriors Place. So stay tuned for more information about what this all means for My Warriors Place. They've been in that same location. If you read the book or heard the story or watched the Mike Rowe episode, Returning the Favor, you know the story of how she came upon the property and everything. And so I know it's going to be sad for her to leave that property, but she is kind of a forward thinker, and I know she has grander things planned for sure. Okay, well, let's see. We did have one unfortunate casualty, not last week, but the week before. An Air Force Staff Sergeant, Evan Matthews, who was assigned to Hurlburt Field there at Special Operations Command, was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident there outside the base. Unfortunate. Okay. Well, this may be one of the quickest Speaking of Zanes on record, but that's okay since we've missed a few weeks and we're on an odd evening. Anyway, so those are all the updates that I have tonight. But Matt says he won't be able to do the run this year. He's going to be at a school. Well, what kind of school are you going to there, Matt? Must be some more advancing of your career there. So good stuff. We'll look forward to hearing all about that for sure. All right, folks. Well, that brings us to an end here. Stay tuned for news on next Sunday. I may be traveling again on Sunday. So I will let you know ahead of time, and so you'll know whether to join Speaking of Zane on Sunday night or not. So, all right. Well, take care, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Make it count, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody down the road again for Speaking of Zane. Thanks, everybody.